Hello, YouTube. Welcome to Hackman Gaming. I am Hackman. We are here with some auto ore and doing what we do. Starting with our big old wheel to see if we get screwed today at all. Like I said, I don't really know if there's any too much screwing at this point. We got a lot of stuff we can do. Market crash, double prices. All right, that's not an issue. Not an issue at all. If we end up having to buy something, obviously we know that that will be a little bit rough. All right, so we left that. We did clear that out. I can't remember. We did shut you back off, right? Yes. Okay. All right, so we got our kind of fuel station slash pressure washer area set up. We need fuel. And we need to get digging. We need to get these ditches finished up so we can start unlocking some new equipment. You know, some stuff that'll help us dig a little quicker and a little more at a time. I am going to run up here to our excavator, and I think I'm just going to start getting right to town on it. Getting some of the ditches done. It does make it really hard, right, to have the ditches come first because, like, I have to level this out, and I really didn't obviously think about that too much. But it is what it is. We'll do the best we can do. Yeah, I should have added that like to the next chat or next tier, to be honest with you, just because of that reason. I'm gonna put these ditches in, and then I'm gonna go through and mess them all up once I dig a road in here. What are you gonna do? I mean, up here it's not too bad. Like up here is pretty decent. And I might just have to do that, honestly. I might just have to move the rest of the ditch to the next chapter, the next tier level, because that is kind of half-assed backwards. All right, so yeah, I don't think it'll affect us too much up here, just because of the fact that it's all fairly flat. But I think I'm gonna do that. I think that's just gonna be one of those things I talked about. We'll change if we have to as we go. And it's not because it's too hard. Like we did a pretty good run of ditch right down there. But more because it just doesn't make sense. Let's see here. I'd hate to go through and spend all this time and everybody sitting here watching me dig for all this time just to, you know, have to watch me do it again. It ain't fixed right. I will say I don't like the whole disappears and reappears. What are you gonna do? All right, so change of plans. Let's get this here. This is the last episode, yeah, that will be in tier 2. So I'm calling it complete. We're gonna move on to tier 3 starting next episode. So I'll have to get that stuff added, the new equipment in there, and stuff like that. Man, this thing's slow. Come on. So I'm gonna move this right over to this big spot we plan on digging up, which, you know, kind of goes right through the road. But we'll be able to patch and fix that up, no problem. It does feel empty, but it ain't empty yet. And I have so much stuff smelting. I'm not worried about, I think, digging this up right now. I think I'll do this. I'll get back down there, and I think we'll work on getting the rest of like the ramps and try to get all that stuff set up, so we can start prepping. Because we're not too far away from really starting to dig down there and clear it out. I mean, this will be fun here. Like I said, I'm gonna dig out a lot of this, and then ultimately have to fill it back in. Maybe. All right, either way, let's just leave this here for now. Stitch you back off. Not that it matters. You're going to be out of fuel here in a second. Let's set that up there. You know, maybe we won't dig there. Maybe we don't need that. We have a couple 100,000 right now. We have a ton more iron to sell if we choose to. Yeah, I think at this moment we don't dig that. I think we had that sweet little honey hole over there. And that did pretty decent. Worst case, if I do end up digging that out, I can just build a wooden bridge across it. I won't have to fill it in, and that'll make that stage a little bit easier for us. Or concrete, if I get to that level. All right, but first and foremost, dozer would be so nice, wouldn't it? First and foremost, let's get our fuel. And no, this isn't double because this is just fuel, not items in the shop. Okay, you're maxed up and you're maxed up. Can't fill up the trucks with it. All right. Good. Now let's throw this down here. Wish we could put a little storage, like a little locker or something that stores stuff. That'd be nice for, you know, put the pressure washer in and stuff like that. All right. Well, let's do what we can do here with the equipment. There we go. Had to adjust it because it's picking up my pedals that aren't turned on. Because again, puppy needs that space to lay in apparently. Should just wait and try to record this off after Mama gets home. But usually it's dinner time and trying to get around, spend time with her. So let's first of all get our bucket, zoom in a little bit. Try to dump some stuff here as well as clean off up there. There's just so much to do, and the bigger equipment will definitely be helpful. Well, I'm gonna roll it. I'm gonna roll if I keep driving like this. I know it, you know it. I know you know I know it. And you know I know you know it. Let's see, that's gonna... Just trying to figure out... I just need this half. That half's gonna be for going around the other way. Let's see here. If you can't tell, I have no idea what I'm doing or why I'm doing it. Just trying to do stuff in my head and see how it plays out. It's usually dangerous. I think that's decent. I just gotta taper that a little bit. Yeah, which means next episode we'll be able to buy I'm pretty sure a fuel, our own fuel for right there, which will be nice. Let's... Which will end our fuel problems here. I do wish that you had to fill it. That would be super nice. Like I held, X amount of gallons, 1,000 gallons, and you'd have to still go get it from the gas station or produce it. I think that would be kind of cool. Maybe they will. Be a nice update if we ever get some trucking in here with it. Gotta kind of put some dirt there too, I think. Kind of debating on cutting that side down, and eventually we'll add some concrete walls up there. This might turn into a, this whole ramp down might turn into a concrete ramp at some point. Let's see. Take off a little bit more over here. That was a little bit too much there, but whatever. We'll get out here and flatten it down and see where we're at. Sometimes that's the best, easiest thing to do. Nope, let's shut it off. Don't want to burn any fuel if I don't have to. We still got leveling, or, this side right there, it looks like. We gotta kind of smooth out. And a lot of work to do. Which is also kind of why I want to get down, get digging, so we can really start getting like stone and be able to go that route. sooner we get to stone, the sooner we ain't got to chop trees, and the sooner we can get some other pieces like the ramp pieces, which will, I think, help not only the looks, but obviously everything involved with this. Or maybe by then the paver will have some reworks to it and it'll be a little more viable. Run a little bit smoother and kind of act like I know we all were kind of hoping for. It does a decent job, but definitely need it thicker and not destructible, which I know the devs said that they're definitely looking into different routes and stuff with it. So definitely excited for that. All right, while we're at it, let's smooth out this side where we're gonna pull around from. And this might take a rework down the road once we start getting some of the big, 200, 300, 400 rock trucks, because I don't know if we're gonna make these turns back here. And as bad as I'm with the dozer's definitely going to help us out in this whole process of leveling and sloping and stuff like that. So hopefully we get that fairly soon. I wonder if I run over the middle of that hole, if it would just bring it all up and make it nice and smooth. I don't know. We're going to find out. Why not? Yeah, because I think it would work, but I think this hole is going to have to be adjusted. This little pass-through lane a little bit. But as we know, that's not going to affect us from getting going. That's like that little pass-through there is pretty far, pretty end game-ish. Ultimately, all this will be concrete at some point. We're running off the ground. We'll be running concrete. We just gotta get digging to get it found. I have to take that slope a little different. I got a vision in my head, and I don't know if I'll be able to play it out how I see it, but I'm going to try. Well, looky there. A little bit of fog. Early morning. Damn, no, not really. This ain't morning fog, this is just fog. So, a little bit right here. I'll end up probably needing to take that in a little bit more. go down here. Let's flatten up this little bit of area. Because I think I'll dig this out a little bit. If I flatten it, it'll be a little better to drive on. Ideally, that's going to tie in like so, and we'll have to check it out, but we might slope it over a little bit more. Let's see here. That's the start of my pit. Looks a lot like last season when I started building a little ramp, and that was it. Yeah, I'm thinking more like this way, like this angle here, hopefully. So a little bit of leveling, a little bit more on the one side than the other. Of course, doing this, kind of angle gives us that slope left to right instead of like up or down to adjust, which does add a little bit of difficulty trying to smooth out. And this is definitely too steep right at the moment. But we need this because this is also going to go. So yeah, almost like probably like this corner of the building-ish. Probably out just a hair. Maybe that first pylon right by the roller now. Straight to, I don't know, kind of like the top of the ramp, the start of the ramp. Probably just a hair to the left of it. We don't worry about trying to turn and. I hope that'll work. I hope that'll work. Ultimately, the truck will come up from here. This still needs a lot of work too. That dozer is going to be huge, but at least we get the foundation set and kind of get the idea the dozer won't take that much work, thank God, because that thing's a pain in the ass to use. I don't know if they did something different with it lately, but I was using it, playing with some guys from Discord, and that was rough. So they'll go up here, they'll be able to dump out their load, and they can either go back down that way through the pit, which, like I said, that's a long way, or they can come back up across the fuel, or they can come up on the fuel side, just depending on what they need. All right. Smooth this out a little bit here, and let's go ahead and get back in our loader. We gotta take more that way too. That actual storage container is actually kind of in the freaking way right now. All right, look at that, it's sunny already. Let's I don't know if it's quicker to bring this over here myself and dump it, or if it's quicker to load it up into the rock truck and then use that to empty it. I feel like both have its advantages and disadvantages, obviously. I think it definitely works better if we'll take one more little scoop off of here like so, and then we'll probably adjust it again later once we move that storage unit out of the way. Storage unit, storage container, the Connex, whatever you'd like to call it. But I'm thinking, I don't know if I need to be that wide. Oh, we're just going to dig and move dirt. We're just going to do what we do. Probably need to trim this side down for sure, so we'll just do that. And I'll figure out what I'm going to do over there. Because I'm thinking, like I said, cutting that little hill and almost cutting it straight down so we can put concrete walls up in there at some point. I don't know if I really need to. It's so far over. It might be a finishing touch. It might be something that we do later just because it looks a lot nicer. Because I try when I do, like I said, it's all pointless, but kind of like trying to make stuff look kind of cool. Cool and unnecessary. Time to replace my contact. It'll bother me for a couple days. Just stop digging. Just stop digging. Well, I'm back on my feet. Don't think it's gonna do me any good. Just gonna keep digging a hole? Well, because it's gonna delete dirt. Just deleting dirt's what it does. Very annoying. Very annoying. I do know that. I put myself in that situation, but you know, that shouldn't just delete dirt and disappear. What are you gonna do? Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to do that. And I'm going to do this. I didn't think that did it, but I think it's because the dirt was pouring out and then back in and out and back in. And I'm pretty sure you lose dirt. Like if you pick up 500 units with your bucket, I'm pretty sure you don't dump out 500. All right, perfect. Look at that. Nothing ever happened. Ugh. Listen, I'm going to take full blame for flipping into the hole or making it or flipping over, but the fact that, like I said, it's sideways and it just digs a giant hole for it to fall into. Nah, I don't think so, though. I don't think so. Is it foggy again? Or is it ending still? Can't tell. Can't really tell here. We're just gonna go like that. Just try to shave it off. Which is extremely hard to do. Like I said, Suzzlemate just got to be good enough for temporary until we get the concrete ramps, and then our whole thing will probably switch here a little bit, and we'll have a nice downward slope made out of concrete. All right. Like I said, I'd still be a huge fan of, like, when you roll over it, it turns it all to at least a dirt texture instead of the grass. I'd be a huge fan of that. Get this. I really need to get over here a little bit more now. A fan of that, like the roller kind of, quote unquote, I guess, paints it dirt or just turns it to dirt. I think that would be nice. And still a huge fan for not all the stupid jagged terrain. You know, have it hills like it is, just smooth a little bit. Come on, baby. So I'm trying to get to this point where I might just do an episode like I did last season a few times, where I'm just throw some music on and realistically just dig. There won't be no commentary, probably no camera. I'll just spend a few hours digging and getting, you know, a good head start on the hole there. Oops. Bigger bucket would be useful, right? We'll get there. Nope, nope, nope. Like, it probably would make more sense for me to load this up on the truck over here or something and then back the truck in, but I find it easier to make these piles with this because they're not as big as opposed to the truck that will obviously dump a huge pile in one spot for the most part, because driving and dumping works-ish. Not the best-ish. Not what I would hope or want, but it does kind of work. And I know part of the problem is, you know, me. Like, I'm looking for a mining game, but with a lot of different elements, and, you know, I don't think that's what it was designed to be, ultimately. You know, I don't... I want the mine, I want to dig, and I want to, you know, have to set up the mine, and, you know, the construction aspects of it, like the pavers, and, you know, again, I say it all the time, like, kind of like farming sim to an extent. Like, here's your property, but, you know, you got to go get your equipment, got to go buy it and purchase it, and, you know, stuff like that is kind of what I'm really hoping we kind of get-ish down the road. Ultimately, you can dig a hole in this game nonstop. I mean, that's until you hit the dig limit, which especially if you're solo, I mean, good luck. You know, and ultimately it's just a hole, and it's, you know, you can change the shape of it a little bit. There's not going to be that much difference ultimately when it comes to it, but you have to build your wash plants and your buildings for your you know, that stuff you can definitely vary a lot more and change it, you know, like the landscape down to the landscape you build it on. Like where we're building here, it's, you know, kind of hilly, a little hillier than I think I wanted, but, you know, you can do your plant 1,000 different ways and do cool different things, but when you're digging a quarry, you're digging a hole. Not as much difference you can do with it. Alright, I'm going to dump this over here, because we're going to need this at some point anyway. Help smooth this level out. Need a little bit of dirt right there, but I think I'm going to grab the roller here. Let's roll out what we got. I'm going to guess we're going to be pretty decent for now. At least on this end, and, you know, down the end, until we get a grader or even the dozer, when we can really kind of level it at once, so to speak. Alright. Trying to get a good spot here to see. Not sure what this bump is. I'm pretty sure it probably fell out of the bucket would be my guess. I find this view kind of nice just because you can kind of see it as you're coming up to it. I feel like this is kind of not as smooth as it should be. I guess it is. Yeah, like, yeah. Right now, if it just made, like, all this grass dirt, it'd be awesome. But if not, you kind of got to dig up the ground, obviously, right? Which you may not want to dig it up. You may have it set just where you need it. I feel like it's a decent slope. I feel like it's still behind here. Maybe could use a little more elevation. But I think we're gonna do okay. I think the smooth ground will help speed up. Now, with the auto smelters coming fairly soon from the sounds of it, they just hit internal testing. We might have to be adding on to our plant at some point. You know, which I think is fun. You know, new technology comes out and have to adapt. But I'm gonna have to get a good freaking quick move on it because I'd like to get to concrete before I start having to add up all the equipment and stuff, because I'm gonna have to obviously redo all the plant, get rid of the wood and get a concrete structure up there. And the more I have built, the obviously longer and harder it's going to be to tear down and redo. No, we already smoothed down here for the most part. Let's grab this a little bit here. Rid of the tag. Rid of the tag of the shirt. All right, I'm gonna head up here. This might be a mistake. Might be doing it a little too early. It just gets really hard to drive up here and try to get stuff where you want. It's foggy again. It is windy outside. I can hear that wind freaking just went to town through my basement window down here. This will obviously need a little bit of fine tuning. Might have to rip some floor up and put some dirt underneath it. Come on, baby. This half of the little fueling station obviously is gonna that are a little bit more than the other one. The other one's downhill. This one I'm doing now will be the uphill if needed. Might not even need it. I mean, they can go up there and just fill up on the way down. Like, I don't have to fill up going up and then go past the gas station again going down. Gonna be able to get enough to wait to get it flattened down. Yeah, not terrible, not terrible. Come on. Come on, baby. Yeah, I have to fill some dirt down underneath there. Let's do that real quick. I don't know if that'll be enough without... I might have to remove that flooring to kind of get it underneath there more. Put that up here. That'll help a little bit, I think. Build up this side here. That'll help a little bit. Yeah, I might need to like rip this up here and put some down there. It's because it's, you know, obviously it pulls from around it to level, right? So it's pretty low over there. So if it's close enough to hit it, it's gonna pull all this down. And I think I can go down and spot it with, you know, dirt, you know, to get rid of the grass, which I might do, but I think you still have a chance for the grass to pop up if you don't fill enough of it up. There's still a bump, but I don't think you can actually get rid of that bump. Maybe if I do it by hand, but I'm not that worried. I'm just try to get rid of that big bump that was there. It's still back a little bit, but it's all right. We can adjust as needed. Definitely a little steep there, right? Or maybe not. I don't know. So hard to tell. We'll have to just test it out when time comes and see what happens. All right. That'll smooth out a little bit. Yeah, it might be just, you know, right behind this roller. Might be where I need to go up just a hair. All right. pile this up here a little bit. That helps from curving it down so much. All right, I think that looks pretty good. I think that looks okay. Let's get this just kind of dealt with here. Let's check our path all the way down. I think we're fairly smooth. Definitely need to trim that mountain in a little hill right there a little bit more, I think. But all right, let's go get our loader. Let's get down here. Let's try to keep cutting this ramp in a little bit. So let's back this up. Grab the loader and the rock truck. And that way we can, like I said, start getting the ramp going, get a little more depth to it. When the time comes, I definitely want to cement the ramp all the way in general. All the way down here if possible, and then probably that to the pit. Then the pit will just be all dirt. Oh, we have fuel. Ugh. You know, that's all right. We will run this guy until he gets low on fuel. And the next episode, we'll be able to buy a fuel thing, barring the store not being closed. Luck. And I gotta switch this. There we go. Because my steering wheel's not even turned on, it shows the pedals being pressed like halfway, even though they're off. So it won't give me speed because of it. Oh, I guess one a little angle, that might help. It's obviously the hardest thing here is, especially early on, there's such as little equipment. Like, it's just, you know, I get to dig a couple scoops here and there. You just feel like you make no headway. I feel like I haven't even dug enough to fill a bucket. and she's full. Just like I'm not sure this is technically going to be wide enough. But if I get it smooth or on a ramp, it'll be easy to widen up. Either with the loader or even the dozer, because I can just drive sideways and the angle will be there. Or the slope, so that'll be nice. Okay, you're nice and full already. And a hair. And I caught the invisible lip there. Caught it a little bit. Even if I run her out of fuel, you know, and the store's closed next episode or something stupid, I mean, I still got little guy over there somewhere, right up there. Yeah, I mean, ultimately this slope's pretty good. It's 13 miles an hour up there the whole way. All right. Here is the problem, because I don't know what my button is without my steering wheel. Empty that. There it is. Found it. I think we'll just roll this on down. I did change the autosave time finally. After what? 3 episodes? I could have just paused it and did it, and I never did. I think I should move over. I want to be able to get the roller down there, because I have to roll that as often as possible. Because the smoother that is, obviously, the easier it is to use this guy to drive down there and keep the ramp going straight and smooth. If it's bumpy, then as you know, oh my god, that was terrible. Terribly my fault, obviously, but might have to rearrange the whole puppy situation, because I'd like to use my wheel for this again. Once he gets his teething phase, he's got teeth coming in, so he's been a little nibbler. And pedals are all metal. I'm not really worried about those that much, but the cord I am. The cord I definitely. Kind of narrowing it down at the middle, it looks like. It started out nice and in a straight line, then I slowly started coming in, and now I'm crooked. Sorry, all turn out in the end. Man, you're fairly full, aren't you? You're fairly full, but I think we're gonna top it off. Yeah, and they'll definitely, like, that was a little curved in, but fine-tuning the ramp, I think, will come with time and age and wisdom. Like I said, I'm pretty sure we're probably gonna end up going wider anyway. Don't really see a reason to make it too narrow, but all right, let's turn you off, dump you up here. You're gonna have some coal. Actually, you know what? Before we do that, so topping you. And you smooth and flatten you out, so you're set to go. You are kind of in my way, but I can't blame anybody but myself. I don't want to go too close to that wall, then it just pulls the dirt up, and there's that much more I gotta try to cut out of there. I think this needs to pull up some, hopefully. Yeah, there it is. Can't go too much, right? Can't go too much. Oh, man, we got a hellacious storm here, don't we? Alright, back you up there. You should be good enough. There, just gives us a nice smooth path, driving that on, and geez, we got like a hurricane. Yeah, this ramp's pretty good. It's could go a little more, cut off a little more on the left to really flatten it out, but I don't think there's a whole lot of point of doing, trying to be too perfect with it right now. Just because we'll change it a little bit as we go. All right, let's park you here, so you're out of the way in case we don't get fuel next time. Ain't too bad here. It's a little high here. It could go down a little bit more there, but that's neither here nor there. Like I said, we'll probably end up, we're definitely gonna move that, probably cut that down there. And then, you know what, let's turn you on, might as well. No, I did forget, buried this all in. You have to turn this on every time. Those can get struck by lightning? No shit. I wonder what got struck. Did that get struck and it went down, or did I mean? Because let's be real. Obviously, that would be struck before this was struck. This was like so low. So did this get struck and it went through and blew that up, or do I have too much power in here now? If that's it. What is this? This is 800, and this is what is this? 16. Let's turn it off. So 2400, and I don't think these are rated for that much, are they? Oh, they're only rated for 600. How did that not blow before? Okay. Well, on a bright note, it wasn't lightning. It was me being a huge idiot. That's cool, though. Yeah, let's give him that. So I need to get more power pylons. Oh, it takes out the wire, too. Okay. Well, I'm starting to wonder, though. And it also get struck by lightning? Or is it just a coincidence that it happened? Like, why didn't this one blow? And I used this last episode, I thought. I will say, though, I do think if I remember right, I hooked this up after I used it. I feel like I ran it. Let's see. Let's just hook up that and see if it will blow. Or they changed something. Yeah, okay. So they definitely changed something, because I ran this last episode. I'm like 95% sure. Either last episode, episode before, I ran this because I filled up the stuff I was digging out. I think last time I did that, I just did that and then I ran it at once. Okay. All right. I mean, that's fair enough. I need to, that should work though, right? It's like I had a direct run. Oh man, I can't remember now. Can't remember. But either way, we'll let this all run and clean out. Because there should be some coal, which I can't even pretend to tell you where the coal's gonna go. There should be nothing there. I think the coal should end up down here. Yeah. All right. So I should have a little more than 23, I think. These guys are still just going, running good, so. All right, so I need bigger power pylons. Note to self. I'm not going to go get them today because of the double prices. Man, I felt like that was perfect timing, though. I felt like a lightning or thunder or bolts like hit and it blew at the right time. I think all these still have stuff to do quite a bit. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yep, plenty to do. Let that keep building up. You probably are done. Yes. All right, let's turn this off and save fuel. Add that to my list of items to buy. That's pretty cool though. Next, we'll just keep these on us. Maybe we can sell them. Should work. Seen this a minute ago too. I don't know why it was bothering me. Silly stuff like that, I know. Try to do this by hand a little bit, just to get that edge done. All right, yeah, that should work. Let's. I thought I seen some. I did. I wish these things would like match the angle of the ground, like they'd slope down. But like, these are just going to be in my way. But trying to add some color to the place, trying to get a little more decorations built up and down, and yeah. So I'm thinking we're gonna have to. I planned on probably originally was this area here. I was gonna do like a little solar farm up there. I don't think that's gonna work how I planned, because I think I'm gonna have to, keep getting that leveled off. Once we get the dozer, level that off. We'll probably have to send our auto smelters up there. We'll have to see how big they are. That'll be the problem. See how big they are, because originally they were gonna go over there. But once we see the size, we might do that. We might still send them over there. And then I think this here will probably level it off to probably about right here, right where that is. So we'll have to cut that whole top off, which won't be bad with a dozer. And then we'll obviously send like asphalt over there, stone, other random stuff, so that way we can load them up into trucks easier. Still got a lot of fill here to do, but once we get the dozer, I can probably, when I push that, I can push that through when I make the little tunnel area. I might be able to level that off or use some of that dirt that delete off the blade. Yep, that might be the plan there. And if that's the case, I'm still gonna have to find a place for the power plant. Yeah, that's just may come to me with time. It might go up there. I can't tell that from here. That looks kind of like maybe a little flat area. It's kind of far away, but that's okay because we have a road going up there. So we turn that off to the plant. Maybe up on that ridge. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. But there's definitely some cool stuff I think we'll be able to do. I'd still like to be able to kind of put some turbines up and around, not just like in one big spot. I want them kind of strategically placed, where they're separated and apart, kind of like real life. They're not stacked on top of each other. They do their studies and place them in weird angle. Yeah, wherever the wind is. And then solar. We'll do some solar as well. So, but yeah, I think we'll call that here for now. Definitely got a lot of plans. We're doing stuff. We're moving along. At least we kind of got this finished here for the most part. We'll move this and the porta potty and probably finish getting this here smoothed off. We're gonna keep working down there and getting that dug out so we can start getting down concrete. And next episode will be tier 3. So I'll go through and get all the list and the wheels for the equipment, the heavy equipment. I think that's the only wheel we're gonna have besides our daily one, because obviously all the production and all that stuff's done, and we'll have a fuel. I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna double check too, but I'm pretty sure the fuel unlocks. So we'll be able to get a fuel guy there, be able to fuel our equipment here, as long as there's not a fuel shortage. But yeah, made it all the way through. I appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you liked it, hit that like button. If you leave a comment below, anything, emojis, any ideas, comments, anything you want, all the engagement helps out a ton. And if you haven't, hit the subscribe button for me. I really appreciate all the support so far. Discord's in the description below. I hope you have a wonderful night, evening, and morning, and hope to catch you next video. Bye.